So I was asked a question on friendships, and the person who wrote was noticing that friends had just started to fall away. They would just stop calling. They would just seem to disappear from her life, and she didn't really know why. And that she was finding this disheartening. And of course, the thing is that as you come into a state of mind that is allowing more presence and more intimacy with this new relationship with Christ in your mind, whether you experience that as with Jesus or with the Holy Spirit, just this experience of presence takes up more and more space, but it also needs more and more space. You need to allow for that spaciousness. And so I always say to people, when things start to drop away, naturally, somebody moves and you don't strive to keep in touch. Somebody has a baby or moves into a different phase in their life, they retire, and so they're not quite in your sphere. Just allow that natural dropping away. If you're in a phase where this spaciousness and this stepped back is coming in for you, don't fight to keep these relationships active and going and pushing to prove that you're a good friend. It's the love in your heart that allows you to see that you've been a good friend, but that your need for this idea of friendship, this belief in friendship and all the reciprocity and agreements that go with it, which were all based on your self-concept, the one you're now letting go of. Well, then everything that shored up that self-concept, of course, naturally has to start to fall away. Now, some of them will get translated and given back as mighty companions. They'll seem to be on a similar, perhaps non-dual course, or be into spirituality, or like meditating, or just going for walks with you in nature. Whatever degree to which it's in harmony with where you are in the moment and can support the action that you're being guided to take and the awareness you're being guided to come to in your own mind. That's the degree to which they'll be accorded mighty companionship and given again to you in your life. And so it's not something to be ashamed of. I remember 10 years ago, nearly 11 now, when I turned around at a retreat and I said to this mature woman beside me, I said, I don't really have any friends anymore. And she goes, you don't need friends. And I thought that was so refreshing. I thought that, yeah, I don't need friends. And what I meant was I no longer had people I was going to discuss my current handbag with and where I got it and how much it cost and that it was on sale. Those were not going to be my primary conversations. I was not going to be talking about every inch of the day with someone and what they'd gone through and the suffering they were experiencing in relation to their life, unless it was something they were looking to change their mind about. I didn't need friends to maintain a life or a lifestyle that I was letting go of. And so, having been, in my own mind at least, a very good friend my entire life, it seemed rather strange to me to say, I don't have any friends. And so her response just freed me up from all the guilt and shame associated with that idea. And I immediately embarked upon an experience of having that heightened intimacy with everyone I met, instead of keeping it for certain people, for special people who were my friends. And so in one fell swoop, instead of downgrading the idea of friends, it was an upgrading of the 7 billion others into a much higher, more immediate, much more satisfying and enthralling experience of mighty companionship, where there was a level of integrity, authenticity, and what the Course calls honesty is consistency of bringing a singular purpose to the relationships. And so I've said to people, when things fall away in your life, when you find that you turned the sound down during the ad break in your favorite show and you never turned it back up, and you sat there quite contentedly watching the fire crackle for an extra hour in the evening, even though you're normally addicted to TV, that's okay, let it happen. When you didn't go out to your favorite knitting group that weekend because you literally forgot all about it, even though you love knitting and everyone in the group, that's okay. Just let it fall away on that occasion. So it's really about coming into a present moment experience of what's needed for you and understanding that the time and spaciousness that you need for awakening is given, and that there aren't people out there who hate you or are hurt by you or wish to see you more or feel let down by you. And what you'll really notice, if you're courageous enough to admit it to yourself, is that you were content to let those relationships go. You were ready for them to be gone. Just like a child whose tricycle is abandoned in the yard because you've now got a two-wheeler, it just didn't hold the same value. The odd time you'll pedal around the block on it, just for old time's sakes. But, your knees are now clinking off the handlebars because you're too tall for it. And so it naturally moves on to those who are ready for it. Those friends naturally move on to other friends who can better, this is the irony, better satisfy their need for friendship by being involved in the same dramas and daily endeavors as they are. And so you would wish them well when you see them go, and also authentically just notice any thoughts and feelings you had, because the original reason friends were there, friends, extended family, everything, whatever it is that's cluttering up your life, it doesn't mean you can't have them, it's just if you're cluttering your life with them, that's the thing. This time spent doing things that are by rote and by necessity rather than things that are essential and given and guided for you. That's what you want to notice. And the missing of them, most of that feeling will actually be a feeling of like an emptiness coming in. An emptiness where there's a little fear. You can feel the cool air around yourself, a little intrepidation. But what you're not aware of is that is where that warm heart glow sparks from. There must be an empty hearth for the fire to be laid and lit. And so it's the courage to allow your hearth to get cleaned out and the new and fresh firewood to be placed and the spark to be given, when it's given and where it's given, and gently kindled by your appreciation and attention for it. Then, whenever needs be, you will find many around you at your hearth, if company and companions are helpful. But they will be mighty companions, they will be companions in truth, and they will be those sent to reinforce and remind you of what you truly desire, your singular purpose for peace.